Okay, now we're live. Thank you, Rodrigo.
Thank you for having me.
Rodrigo Moraes não é português você?
No, no, brasileiro.
Exatamente. So we this is I can actually say friend because we just met, but actually I respect his work so much. I saw his work on Instagram, and I've decided to contact him. And Rodrigo has nicely, accepted to make this interview. And we're just going to speak about his work and things that he has been done, and why the hell is he in Hawaii? From all the way from Brazil to Hawaii. So thank you so much for having and being here, actually.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
So tell me about yourself. Tell me how did you get into photography?
Well, I come a long way from Brazil. I spent a little time in California, and then moved to Hawaii about 8 years ago. And in 2009, I decided that I wanted to make some good images, better than point and shoot. So I went and picked a camera and decided I wanted to learn. And yeah, the rest is history.
So, but what have you been doing before that?
Well, I always been into. My uncle is a photographer back in Brazil, and I always been around that, but I wasn't interested really. I was young, so I moved to California. I went to English school for a little bit, and then I got into surfing, and surfing brought me to Hawaii, pretty much.
Understandably.
And then the plan was to stay for 1 year and go back home, but it's been eight years in beautiful Hawaii.
Oh, that's so nice, man.
Yeah, I love it.
Good, good. And how did you find the people there? I mean, was it like a not a shock in the sense of cultural shock, or did you just fit in?
Oh, I feel like everyone I met along the way are very welcoming. I moved here by myself with a backpack and a surfboard, and I made friends right away. And and next thing you know, I'm got a girlfriend now. We got 2 dogs, and living on photography, which is amazing.
Nice, man. What does your girlfriend do? Is she a photographer also, or what?
No, she helps me on the shoots that I need an assistant, or but no, she works in a restaurant, a oceanfront restaurant, and she does yoga. She's trying to become a yoga teacher.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I understand. Listen, so I want people to know where they can find you right now. So whenever they see this interview, they can go and and they can go and fetch your website. And what I have here is RodrigoMoraesPhotography.com. Is that true?
Correct. Yeah, that's my portfolio, my website. You got my weddings there, my family photo shoots. I also do a little fashion, lifestyle photography. There's some samples there too, but I feel like I'm more active on Instagram than anything else, really.
Exactly, because I mean, after hearing from you, I think it was, now that you mentioned this before we're going live, I was listening to TWIP, I always do, and on my cell phone, and it somehow got me to because I don't know you. Somehow I finished not looking at your website, but looking at your Instagram. So your Instagram is very. I mean, I cannot. It's Rodrigo, but you have the dashes before that, right? How do you call
Right.
it?
I thought about that and I changed it. I changed it to Rodrigo M Photo. It makes it easier for people to find me.
Oh, cool. That's nice.
Yeah. So.
Yes,
That's,
because from that I can. I was going from one rayita, uma raya por duas raias, três raias, e não encontrava nada.
that's what I keep hearing from people. It's like you can never find you on Instagram. I was like, all right, let me change that then, make it easier.
Yeah, exactly. So what I mean, going through this, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think I can do a screen share here. Hold on a second. Capture screen share. Okay. Google Hangouts will like to show. Okay. Share. We're gonna share that. So my thing is probably gonna go on to your Instagram. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's there. Awesome.
Okay, this is you. So, I mean, looking at this Instagram, I see it's, you know, smiling faces and everybody's happy. Must be like it looks like a 365 thing, or just, portraits of people.
Right. That was a little project I did for the month of December. So we
Okay.
started from the December 1st to Christmas Day, and my goal was to share a portrait a day of people I know. So I think all of them, they're all good friends of mine, or friends of friends, and they all agreed to do a little portrait for me to pose in front of the camera, which is not easy, you know.
I know, I know.
But
I
yeah,
hate,
that was
I
a fun
hate
project.
photograph, man. I hate it. I don't like being photographed.
I know, me neither.
So,
I try to get a new headshot for myself, and it's always really awkward. And the picture we find is always the one in between the posers, you know.
yeah, it's true. So listen, I see everybody's happy in Hawaii, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's a happy place, you know. Quite
Oh, this is nice.
amazing. Yeah. It's very laid. It's very laid back. Too laid back sometimes. A lot of beach time.
Well, but it looks like you had people have fun looking at and they know you. Yeah, it looks like they have this, I don't know, happiness inside. I mean, they're very smiling. So
Yeah, everybody smiles. It's amazing.
good, good, good. I like that.
Yeah.
Something else we have here. Yeah, we have a couple of shots of the beach, mostly beach thing.
Yeah, that's what I start photographing. Like when I first picked up the camera, I was very into landscaping and seascaping and you know, learning the composition and whatnot. And then I fell in love with photographing people. And
Okay, okay, now going into like, your website, which it's a little bit more formal than your Instagram, and I see you do weddings and family, and
right.
how does that, um, I don't want to know like business wise, but what I see on your website, like the wedding, how much is that in percentage wise of your amount of money you make, a month? I mean, how much do you have to do weddings to make a living, or how much do you have to do family portraits, or how much do you have to do fashion in Hawaii, or where you are? I mean, it doesn't. I know you know all over Hawaii, but how much of that does that make out of your income to live in Hawaii? Because I'm guessing a lot of photographers, they want to know that. Yeah, it's nice living in Hawaii, but how much does he make out of? I mean, why should I go there and make weddings? Why should I go there and make family portraits?
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm fairly new in the wedding industry. I just started shooting weddings, I'd say 6 months ago. I started as a second photographer for a big photographer in Hawaii. Her name is Jenna Morgan. So we did a couple weddings as a second shooter for her. And then I've done a few on my own. But I can't say that I live off weddings. I feel like I'm a family photographer. That's how I make my living in Hawaii. I'm a freelancer, and hotels contact me when there's a family looking for a portrait. And also there's a company named Pacific Dream Photography. I work with them as well, I collaborate, and they get me clients and I shoot with them. But I'd say Um, how? I'm sorry, I got carried away with the.
No, no. I mean, how much of your work consists of a family? I mean, how much of your income comes from a family portrait, or from those hotels contacts, or from that company? Is it like 50 or 70%, or do you make your own marketing on the web or whatever, or
Oh,
local?
it's pretty much half and half. I'd say half from people that already know me, and half from new people that find me through, let's say, wedding coordinators. They find me through Instagram a lot. I have a lot of people find me through Instagram as far as fashion and families. Um, Also Facebook. I quoted 3 weddings last couple weeks just through Facebook. People found me on Facebook, and from there they went to my website.
Okay, cool.
It's social
Um,
media. I feel like it's the I, I don't know if it's the best, but what's working out for me at the moment, social media is helping me a lot to keep
I,
me
I know.
on in business. It's amazing.
Enjoy this moment.
Right? I try.
Yes, man. Because when I started out, it was there's no Facebook or no.
Right.
It was, it was from the ground.
How did you do it?
Uh,
How did you do it on
well,
marketing
you
wise?
know how I did it? I started by going to newspapers and offering them my photography service in for exchange of like publicity for like half a page of my publicity, my phone number. We didn't have websites back then. I mean, the internet was I mean, I'm talking about probably 95 or 96. So that's how I did. And then when I started from one newspaper, I went to another one, and then that newspaper had like magazines, and then they contact me for making. But all of that was just for exchange of printed publicity. Okay. Of course, my pictures had to be good enough to be on the magazine, but
Hmm.
there wasn't any pay. So then people called me. It was a long process, probably 10 years, man. It wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the reach you got back then through magazines and newspaper, even though they were like in the thousands, they were all local. But now you can have thousands on your Facebook, but you can go, way more apart from local clients. So that's the big advantage I see now with this all media. You know,
Yeah. The whole globalization thing, right? Things
that's
yeah.
true. Listen, a couple of things I wanted to ask you. Do weddings there? Most of them are done like in daylight, I imagine, right? Or sunset.
We have all kinds of weddings. We have there's a lot of beach weddings, which is since the main market here is on tourism.
Okay.
So a lot of people come from the mainland United States, and they want to get married in the beach. So they bring about 5 people with them or their family, and they do a quick beach wedding on Sunset. But we also have amazing venues who do full day 6 hour weddings on. Uh, it's all kinds pretty much, like full day beach sunset, which is like 1 hour, show up, shoot, done. It's
Okay.
yeah.
How different is that from weddings in Brazil?
I'd say it's I'm not sure how the wedding market is in Brazil, because I started shooting here, so
Mhm.
I'm not very familiar. But I believe it's the same way. I have a couple friends that do wedding photography in Brazil, and they say that the weddings there are getting more similar than the weddings in America. It's like, as far as time and the kind of photos they want, now they want like from beach portrait session before the wedding to the prep to the ceremony to the cocktail
Okay.
hour, like
Yeah, because
You have
here in the Dominican Republic, as well as in Puerto Rico, which is right next door,
mhm.
it's usually weddings start. I mean, I have to be in the hotel or whatever the groom and the bride is are at around 4 o'clock. Okay, that's normal.
Okay.
So from 4 o'clock until 3 or 4 in the morning, I'm shooting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
So
love
that
I love doing American weddings, which is like 5 hours and that's it.
well, yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure in Brazil it's a later end as well. You know,
Exactly,
like
that's what I'm
there's
saying.
a lot
'Cause
of party down there.
exactly, I know that.
Oh, here we end at 8 o'clock. That's the contract. We end at 8 o'clock. You know,
Wow.
it's but it starts earlier though. We most weddings I've shot, we started like noon, and we did the prep, the photograph the bridegroom in the hotel room, and it's because they do try to do the ceremony around sunset because it's the
Yeah,
most beautiful time of the day.
of
I
course.
feel like I feel like that's the most requests I have on family photography and weddings. They want sunset, even though it's not my favorite light for photographing. I
Mm.
love the mornings, but sunset's the most, yeah, it's the most requested.
Yeah, I understand. You must have amazing sunsets as I see here on your Instagram. So I mean, yeah, I
Yeah,
understand people are going there for that.
yeah, oh
Um,
yeah, beautiful.
Tell me about your other work in fashion. How do you get those gigs? How do you get? I mean, those do people contact you, or do you actually go and try to get more fashion photography work?
Well, as far as agency, um, so how it all started, I got contacted by Wilhelmina Hawaii, which is like a big agency in the United States and Europe, and they it's Wilhelmina Hawaii. They have one in LA, one in New York. They have the main Wilhelmina, I believe they're in Europe. Got contacted by them to do a few test shoots, and
For what?
I'm
Excuse
not
me.
sure how. I'm not. I'm sorry.
For what?
To do a few test shoots, which
Oh,
is
okay. Uh-huh.
so they get fresh faces and they need portfolio material. So you know, and I that's how I started getting into fashion. Then I was like, oh, this is really I really like doing this, and from there I done a lot of free work just to get started. And I don't know, I just the fact that I'm photographing, I'll do that even if like I'm not getting paid. I just love it. And from there, I got my work out, and I had a few models contacting me to do work with them because a lot of models they're not represented by an agency, so they need work to show them. And yeah, and then that's been working out good. Maui is not the biggest place for fashion photography. I don't feel like as compared to LA or New York and whatnot, but there's still a little market for it here, and we have beautiful spots to photograph as far as beaches, and even like if you need urban looking, we can find it. Yeah, it's
I heard I was a big fan a long time ago of Helmut Newton. You know this photographer?
what's his name?
Helmut Newton.
I'm not familiar. No.
Okay, he died like 3 years ago, and he was a very how to say almost sexual photographer, sensual photographer. Always done his work on black and white, and and he was born in Germany. Then he grew up in Australia, and somehow he ended up on a photo shoot. I read his biography, autobiography, which I love autobiographies,
Hmm.
and the guy was shooting there in Hawaii for I don't know Vogue or one of those big magazines, and the pictures that he stayed like for 2 months because he wanted to vacation there, and also apart from doing the shoot, and the pictures when they got back to whatever they got back, the editors say, what I mean, why do you shoot people in the hotel? Get out, go to where the lava is, and shoot the model there. That's what we want.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because the guy was,
Yeah.
shooting on the comforter of his hotel and all around, and then and they wanted Hawaii. They want to like the
Right, right,
sea and
right.
the lava and the whole context of what meant for people way far from Hawaii what that was.
Oh
And so
yeah.
he had to reshoot the whole thing again, and the pictures came out, because he's a very good photographer, and so I imagine that you do have a lot of places there to shoot, not
Oh.
only for weddings but also for fashion. How do you move from island to island, or do you stay where you are? Where are you right now?
I'm on the island of Maui. I haven't flew from island to island for work yet. It just haven't happened. I shoot exclusively on Maui at the moment, but if someone needs it, I'll definitely go and check it
Oh, no,
out.
I understand, but how do people move there? Is it by boat mainly or by airplane?
Oh no, we fly. It's all airplanes. They try to do a ferry thing to go from Maui to Oahu, Waikiki, but that didn't work out. It's Maui. We have the whale season, which is the whales migrate from Alaska here, and then they were afraid there would be accidents going through ocean and whatnot. So it's all by plane. A couple islands outside of Maui. There's one called Lanai and Molokai. You can take the ferry over, but those
That's
are like really close
okay.
islands. Yeah, but it's
So the
all.
islands, so that people know, the islands are not like close together, even though it's one whole state. There are many islands, and they are as far away
Right.
that you have to go in plane, right?
Right. Yeah. The flights are not that long. They are far in like distance, but it's about 35 minute, 45-minute flight from island to island. It's not too far. It's not
Okay,
too
it's
bad.
like okay, I get it. It's like from Miami to Bahamas, actually.
Yes, yeah, I'd say kind of like that.
Listen, another thing. What cameras do you use? What equipment do you use?
Well, I am a Nikon shooter. I love the Nikon. I nothing against Canon, but I shoot with a Nikon D600. That's my main camera. I have a backup camera, the Nikon D7100, and I also play with film a lot. So I shoot a Leica R4S for
Oh,
my film
nice.
photography. Yeah, I just discovered how fun film photography is. And,
Yes, because I've been doing that also for the past. The thing is that I had this Nikon. I also been a Nikon shooter for the past 25 years. But I kept
what Nikon do you shoot at the moment?
I kept my Nikon D3 for like 7 years.
Yeah.
I just sold it now in New York when I went to this big how do you call it, the Photo Plus Expo.
Oh, I always wanted to go there.
Yeah, it was like two months ago, and I went there and I sold it because it was old and I didn't have any video there on that camera, but the camera
Oh
was,
yeah.
I mean, it was good camera, it was, you can just you can throw it on the ground and it will, I mean, that was a good camera. It was
Hmm.
very hard for me to get it out of so I bought the newest Nikon, which is the D750, which it feels very plasticky to me. It
Does
is.
it?
Yeah, man, but it is lightweight, which is what I wanted, and it does have the Wi-Fi, and
Hmm.
I mean I stepped up from an iPhone 1 to a 5,
Right.
that's what I did with the
Well,
Nikon.
you were shooting with a heavy big camera. The D3, I know it's huge. It's like my camera with a battery pack plus. It's
Exactly.
really.
So when you put a flash onto that,
Oh yeah.
and then apart from that, I had like an extension, and it was uncomfortable. It was just getting ridiculous, and so I'm getting used to this the 750, and I actually like it. I mean the files are huge. The ISO is way much better than the D3, and I have that movie and capability, and now whenever I go, I shoot a lot of hotels and interior photography. Uh,
I've seen your work. Beautiful work, by the way, Thiago.
thank you, and as you know, I do a couple of videos now and then. I put it together like like a
Hmm.
1 minute thing, and I I started giving it to my clients, and they like it. So now, instead of giving it, I can probably start selling it. You know, not like as if it was a whole whole day shoot or anything like that. But
Right.
I'm sure they wouldn't they will appreciate that for the website, because it's as long as I'm there for the for the photography, and the lighting is good, and the people are there, and I have the releases for everybody, I can do that. So it's an advantage that I did not have before.
Yeah.
Those two cameras that you own, both of them have video?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. I ventured in video for a little bit. I recorded I made a wedding video, but I feel I appreciate the video part of it, and I feel like that's a good branching from photography. But I feel like I'm an image taker. I get more excited about photographing the still image than the videoing. But yeah, they both do. And I play around with them quite a bit, and we make some fun surf videos. I love making surf videos, and
Exactly.
yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is that now that I know that I can have that, what I'm doing is that I'm subcontracting people uh, very younger than I am, and and they know a lot more about video than I do, and they can put a 30-minute video, a 20-minute video, a 10-minute video, like from one day to another.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pay them for the day, and they do that. They have the license for for the music and everything. So it's just like an extra thing that I can offer my clients, because if I have a video capability in my camera, and I know how to do it, even though I'm doing photography, I can now have this kid next to me doing the video, not just backstage. I don't mean that, but I mean really nice videos. Last like a minute or so, and
Right.
then the clients, I show that to them. If they want it, they buy it. If they don't want it, then
Exactly.
it's there. It's there.
Video quality on a DSLR these days is amazing.
Yes.
It's like a movie, like from we go to the theater. It's like the quality is on such a little camera is it's fantastic. I love that. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yes, it is. And I went. Listen, I still have it here. I went from these guys. Let me see if from this
Oh
to
yeah, yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah. SD card. That's it.
I still don't get this. I still don't get this. I mean, it's way too
That's all
small.
I have. Yeah, that's all. There's on my Nikon. It's all a couple. Yeah, they're right here. Yeah, my little guy right here.
Yeah, it's, I'm getting used to all of this, and I'm liking it.
Yeah.
It's time for change, and it's time for keeping up with the moment. So I'm all open to it. Listen, another thing I wanted to ask you, I have bought actually two mirrorless cameras. Do you know
Uh-huh.
anything about that? And are photographers there in Hawaii using mirrorless cameras?
I do know about the mirrorless technology, and I haven't seen that many professional photographers use it. I've seen people, just vacationers and whatnot with those, but not professional photographers. I bought I'm not even sure if those are considered mirrorless, but it's a Fujifilm X20.
I don't know.
They have the Fujifilm X100. I know that one is a mirrorless with the exchangeable lens, and then they have the Fujifilm X20, which is non-exchangeable lens. And I bought that camera right before I went on my vacation to Bali. And the camera is like, I'll show it to you.
Let me see.
Yeah. This is it right here. Let me get it out of the case.
Nice.
Yeah, it's so we're planning on our vacation going to Bali, Indonesia, and we're gonna travel really light. That's it. So I was
Nice.
like, oh, I do not want to bring my gear.
Of course,
We're
man.
gonna be traveling and walking, and
Exactly.
I mean, it's not like I'm going on assignment.
Is
But
that is that the one on your website? I think it is, isn't it?
the
Oh,
camera?
yeah. You have. I think you have the camera. One of those.
Oh, No, that's my film. That's my film. Like I know what you're talking about.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
I
But
I can't tell from here. But yeah, and I bought which one I bought? I bought the NEX7, which is my first
oh, the
mirrorless
Sony,
cameras,
yes.
and I
Uh-huh.
loved it. I loved it because it did, the whole video and the photography thing at the same time, and it
Yeah.
also had the flip screen, which for my interior and architectural work and hotels and everything, it's what I need because I'm always facing down. Most of the hotels and interiors, they have like a limit. How do you say a limit? You cannot go above a certain limit. I mean, you cannot photograph a room on your eye level. It's usually you go down. So I
Hmm.
was always on the ground, sitting down and looking at the camera. Now I have advantage of flipping the screen and just composing with the rigs and the 4/3 and thirds and whatever, and I can do that really much easier now with these small cameras. And also I have that advantage in the D750, which was one of the main reasons I bought because of the
Oh,
tilt.
that is screen. Yeah.
And then I had I had that camera in my car. I have never used a camera for taking pictures outside because I always had my camera. Always said that my camera was being used to make money.
Right.
Which as a photographer, that's not like really romantic, but people stopped asking me to take my camera to parties and to whatever I went because it's a big heavy camera, man. I cannot just take that to the beach.
Right.
It's so these cameras have actually opened up a whole new how do you say it? Yeah, photography, street photography, or whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it for me.
It's way
And
more
then I
discreet.
thought, excuse me.
I say it's way more discreet. People want,
Exactly, and
you have
and
a DSLR in your hands, it's the big camera, and then
exactly.
you have a little, you can shoot from your waist high, people won't even notice.
Exactly. So I've heard, that that photographer from TWIP, um, Van Johnson, he's a big fan of Panasonic cameras and the whole mirrorless thing. And I've started, taking notice about this. And this time in New York,
Mhm.
most of the cameras that were being sold were not, they're not like high-end cameras. They're not 6,000, 5,000 cameras. They're, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 cameras, and most of them are mirrorless, mainly Sony, actually.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, that was I took that on my vacation. That was, I'm glad, and I got amazing images. I go back to the hotel room and get my computer and throw the card in. I was like, oh my God, that looks just like as if I took with the DSLR. Maybe the depth of field's not as good,
Yeah, they have their limitations, but
but I
making
was really happy.
me, as a photographer, I did some very nice images. Actually, the only image that I sold with my NEX7, I do this big, how do you call it? Big glass. I imprimo, I print images on glass,
Okay.
big, huge
Hmm.
glass, and I sell them to hotels and interior design people, and they just they put it wherever they want so for decoration.
Oh, I
And
see it.
yeah, and one of them uh, actually was from that camera.
Oh, wow.
Sold it more than what the cost of the camera was, so I was happy for that.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
That always makes us happy, right? Pay off for the bill.
Yeah, well, I was happy. There is a guy in I think he is yeah, from California. It's like Orangutango or Rango Tango, something like that on Instagram. You should look him up if you have a
Okay.
chance. And he does use the A7R, I think it is, from Sony mirrorless.
Hmm.
And I looked at his work. I don't think he uses all of the imagery he does with that with that camera, but most of it he does it. At least he says he does it with that camera. So if you have a chance to look him up.
Okay, I definitely
And
will.
another person that I follow on Instagram from Hawaii is this girl. I think she's very young, but she has like a how many? Yeah, 22,000 followers. Is Alisa Bokovoy. Do you know her?
I do not. No.
Have you heard of her? No.
No, not by
And she is it says here she's a photographer.
that name. Maybe she's on.
But I'll just I don't know if you can see that there.
Yeah, it's a bit blurry. I can really see.
It's blurry. Well, whatever. But it's Alisa with a double S, Bokovoy. I'm trying to contact her. She mainly does pictures of herself with bikinis, and I'm guessing she has some kind of contract with bikini company or whatever. Orangutan. Let me see if I can find Orang.
Okay. How many followers does she have?
22,000, almost 23.
Bikini photos with
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't get that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
man.
think people want to see me on a bikini.
Well, she has a beautiful body, of course. But what the way I found it was looking through photographers in Hawaii. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to make like an Instagram kind of on these months to come. And starting this year, you're the first one that I interview. I haven't interviewed like in 6 months.
Oh,
And,
wow.
Yes. So this is I want to start and see what I can get from Instagram, because I think that imagery does sell, and a lot of these people are making money from Instagram, not from their websites.
Right. Yeah, I feel like lots of my connections are through Instagram. Like my website gets movement and whatnot, but Instagram is how I meet most of my photographer friends and models, and sometimes I feel like I'm inspired and I'm like, all right, let's find a model for a test shoot, and I post it on Instagram, and next thing you know, there's a shoot setup. It's quite amazing how it's working out these days,
Yeah, it is, and thank God it's becoming a little bit more easier for us photographers, because in the film days you have to go and pick up the film, you have to develop, you have to pick up the right paper, you have to pick up the right lab. So now I guess that I don't know if this is counter, if it goes against us sometimes, because people find it so easy now that they think that probably photography is not as an art form as it used to be,
Right. That is true. Yeah. It's nowadays anyone can really get a camera and start shooting, right?
Yeah, but what I tell my people that say that to me is that it's a whole new story if you take pictures. And making money out of that, paying taxes out of that, having a studio, having no retouch, you have to know a lot of things now. You have to own the software, you have to know the software, you have to, so it has become. I mean, we left like a load, but now we have another kind of load, which is we really have. If you want to make on this business, you really do have to make it. On the business kind of photography, it is a little bit complicated. Also, it's not. It's one thing to make good pictures. It's another thing to make good pictures and make a living out of it.
Right. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. I feel like a lot of I'm starting noticing that, but a lot of my friends that live off photography, they say it's pretty much 80% marketing and office work and 20% shooting. So it's like you shoot, but you won't shoot for 5 days, let's say, sometimes, but you're doing work in the computer and updating your website and marketing and all that stuff. And about 3 months ago, I became a full-time photographer, and that's what I noticed. Now it's like sometimes I won't be shooting often, but I'll be always working the computer and learning the software, and you know.
Yeah, exactly. And people like people software like Google and Facebook, they're continually changing and changing and changing. So you're never getting like a free break.
It's hard, yeah, it's hard to keep up.
And but what I do know, what has been a very good help for me, I don't know if you have this, is blogging, which I have a blog on my website.
Okay.
And even though, and what I do is that I tag what I'm writing about, and I put some pictures over there, and what is helping me is that I put that same blog in Google Plus. And why is that important? Because Google Plus is Google, so that it's becomes immediately, almost immediately, like 20 minutes after that, it becomes indexed in Google. And if you throw up, a little video, which is why I was telling you it's important to have these cameras with video. If you throw up a little video and you put it on your YouTube, so now you have Google Plus, you have the Google indexed, and you have YouTube, which belongs to Google. So I know it's a monopoly, but if you take advantage of that, I'm having people actually calling me from Bahamas, where I do a lot of architectural work there in Bahamas. And I said, where do you find me? And I said, well, I googled up, photographer in Bahamas, whatever it was, and I was there. I was the only one doing it, probably, or the few of them doing it. So that was a big thing for me, discovering Google Plus, which is, when I go in there, it's like a ghost town. And this guy, Frederick Van Johnson, he says it is a ghost town, but I mean, photographers there are just having a picnic because they know they're getting indexed. And a lot of other companies, they're not in there, or if they are, they only have their names in there, and they're not putting up their work, or are not putting up their, it's how do you say, come and visit us this weekend. We're going to have a free something, and that gets indexed in Google. So that was what I've learned listening to shows like TWIP, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I see. I'm not very active on Google Plus, but I feel like after all that information, I should. Get to it.
And listen, do that and tag, because you can tag. You can hashtag. Wedding photographer from Hawaii. I am sure. And if you nail down to the island where you are, you're gonna get calls. You are going to get calls, because that is, it's not like before that it used to I think it was like 3 months to wait until you get indexed on Google, because you have to approve your website or approve your blog. And now if you go on Google Plus, you don't have to
right away.
You are in Google Plus, so it's much faster. And I'm doing that a lot. I'm trying to do that a lot. And actually, what I've done is that I have a channel for my wedding thing here in the Dominican Republic, and another one for hotel, my hotel work. So I encourage you to do that if you don't know that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that for sure. Thank you for the heads up.
Listen, I'm looking at my notes.
Show notes.
One more last question. Where do you think, in Hawaii, knowing, I don't know how the community of photographers there, are you tight there? I mean, do you have, do you get together, or are you like one here and one over there?
My own there's amazing photographers in Hawaii. That's and they are. I'm not sure. Actually, let me rephrase that. There's amazing photographers on Maui. I'm not very familiar with the photographers on the other islands, but I'm friends with a few of them. And when I was starting, I used to contact them and go have coffee and talk shop, and that's really amazing people and amazing photographers. I feel like there is a meeting on photographers get together, but I haven't found that quite yet. I feel like everybody's kind of doing their own thing, and you know, I believe everybody's busy. It's a busy island as far as photography. You know, people want photography in Hawaii, so.
Yes, I can imagine. I can imagine. But in general, you know, and knowing about these mirrorless cameras and knowing about, you know, the TWIP thing and how I mean, Americans, mostly Americans, are really taking a second look at these new you know, equipment and mirrorless systems. Do you think we will? I mean, where do you think it's all gonna go?
Well, as far as the mirrorless thing, I believe we're gonna be a little bit. It might, like, you know, everybody's gonna be doing the mainland, but Hawaii's. I feel like we're a little bit behind on the technology thing. Like, not. I mean, I don't want to sound like it's gonna take. I think it's gonna take a while over here to people to trust you when you show up in a wedding that they're paying all that money with a little camera to trust you're gonna make good images. Besides showing up with a D750 or a D4 with the big lens and the big flash, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, as far. Does that make sense?
No, I understand, but from what I've heard, I've never heard one of my clients say what you're saying. I've always heard other photographers saying that. No one is going to respect me if I go with a small camera. I've never ever heard a client say that to me, actually.
Right.
So it's funny. It's funny because we're probably thinking the wrong way. Because I was one of those, no. But now, having 25 years doing this, I don't give a shit what people think. I just tell them, listen, just look at my website. You know, it's all about the imagery. It's not about the camera. But before, yes, I was very scared, and I actually bought, you know, I bought all of the last Nikons. You know, this is the first time actually in 20 years that I've never bought the latest, you know, the professional top of the line Nikon. But you know, at $7,000, it was way too much, man.
But you know what I mean, like
I could probably handle $5,000, but $750, no, man.
Oh yeah, it's expensive these days. But I'd say though, you know how people have that image of a photographer that have the big camera.
Exactly. No, I understand.
You're a professional. Yeah, it's just yeah. Maybe it's so. Yeah, I guess if you are a well-known photographer, it's a different story. But
exactly. So listen, I want to let you off on your Saturday, and it's almost dark here, but I know you just started your day there mostly.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. We had a big storm last night, but today it's sun is out. It's a beautiful day. Yeah.
Well, enjoy the day. You're probably going to the beach or something.
I got work to do today. I got some editing and I got a photo shoot on sunset. So.
All right, man. Okay.
Working day today.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much for accepting my, and returning my email.
No.
This is what what I do. I do this kind of things, and people are very skeptical about it. And but then again, you have you have a house here if you want to come.
Oh, sweet. Same to you, man.
Have a room here. You have a spare room. So if you ever come to the Dominican Republic or nearby, man, just let me know, man.
Sounds great. Yeah, same to you. We have this studio here. I'm in my studio, and we can always throw a mattress there.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Thiago. It was awesome.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Aloha.